All right, let's dive in. Today, we are cracking open the playbook of an incredible filmmaker, Dan Mace. We're going to look at his entire process for making visual stories that don't just get your attention, but actually make you feel something. We're talking from that first little spark of an idea all the way to that final polished film.
And let's start with this quote, because honestly, it's the key to everything. For Dan Mace, a strong idea isn't just, the first step. It's the most valuable thing you have. It's the currency that you use to fund the entire project. It's the foundation that everything, and I mean everything, gets built on.
And breaking down playbooks like this one is exactly what we do here at CaseCadenza. We believe stories come to life through these deep dives. We explore everything from business strategies to real-world events to pull out those insights and lessons. So, if that sounds like your kind of thing, stick around because we think you're going to like it here.
So our journey today is going to be broken down into 3 main phases. First up, we're going to get that core idea absolutely rock solid. Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty, the practical steps of actually making it happen. And finally, we'll see how you weave it all together in the edit to create the final story.
Okay, let's jump right into phase 1, crafting the core idea. Seriously, think of this part like you're an architect. This is where you are drawing up the complete blueprint for your film, way before you even think about picking up a camera. And the first tool for that is the logline. This one sentence is your North Star. It's your compass, especially if you're doing unscripted work, where things can get kind of chaotic, right? This single sentence is what you always come back to. It's what keeps you on track and ensures you're still telling the story you meant to tell from the beginning.
And here's the best part. He gives us a formula to build it. It's so simple, but so powerful. You start with the problem. What's the core conflict? Then you state your intention. What are you trying to do about it? After that, you introduce the obstacle. What's getting in the way? That creates all the tension. And finally, you give a little hint of the solution. That's the payoff for the audience. Boom! A whole story, right there, in one sentence.
So you might be asking, why get so obsessed with story structure? Well, this number says it all. 47%. That's the potential increase of oxytocin, the love hormone, in a person's brain when they're watching a really emotional, compelling story. So we're not just making cool videos here. We are literally changing people's brain chemistry. That is the incredible power of good storytelling.
Okay, now we're heading into phase 2. So you've got your blueprint, your logline is solid. How do you actually start, building the house? How do you bring this thing to life?
Now, this is where Dan Mace's approach gets really interesting, maybe even a little controversial. He believes music makes up about 40% of the entire film. Think about that. For him, music isn't something you just slap on at the end. No. It's a core piece of the foundation that you should be thinking about from day one because it dictates the entire emotional journey of your film.
And it's a game-changing insight like that, thinking about music first, that can totally elevate your work. We're always digging into methods like these here on CaseCadenza, so if this is helpful, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the next one.
He also has this amazing, counterintuitive take on money. We all think, oh, if I only had a bigger budget, right? But Mace argues that sometimes a smaller budget is actually a blessing. With less money comes less pressure. It forces you to get scrappy, to think outside the box, and to turn those limitations into your most creative solutions.
Which brings us to the grand finale, phase 3, assembling the final narrative. You've planned, you've shot, you have all the pieces. But the film is not made yet, not even close. For Mace, the edit is where the story is truly discovered. It's where the magic really happens.
And in today's world, you have to grab people's attention fast. So he has a formula for that too. The first 7 seconds, that's all about impact. You need a killer opening line or a shocking visual. Then from 7 to 30 seconds, that's the hook. Give your audience a reason to care, to get emotionally invested. And then from 30 to 90 seconds, you establish the core idea they'll be following.
Now, here's a really high-level editing technique he uses, and is borrowed from the one and only Ernest Hemingway. It's called the theory of omission. The basic idea is that the story's real power is often in what you don't say, what you don't show. By leaving things out, you invite the audience to fill in the gaps themselves. You make them an active participant, and that creates a way deeper connection to the story.
And this last point is so important, especially right now. In the age of AI, Mace makes this passionate plea for human imperfection. He says, look, don't use tools like ChatGPT to write your stories because they're too perfect. They can strip out the soul of a story. Real connection, he argues,
comes from the messy bits, the flaws, the things that make it human. And that's something an algorithm just can't fake.
So, there you have it. We've walked through the whole playbook, from ideas as currency to the beauty of a flawed human story. The blueprint is right here. So, I guess the only question left, and it's the most important one, is what story will you tell?
Hey, if this breakdown was helpful for you, please subscribe to CaseCadenza so you never miss another story. We really appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for watching.